Welcome to another exciting edition of $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Papergoy.
And I'm Mr-Magazine.
And to anybody new to the channel, I'm Papergoy. I sell out of my house. I've got about 40,000 items up between eBay and Amazon, and I've got a day job, so it kind of gives you the smaller seller perspective.
And I'm Mr-Magazine with a big warehouse, 500,000 items online, and 15 employees.
Hey, look behind us. It looks like a deal was made.
It does look like a deal.
I think one of the most difficult things for anybody, and it's difficult for me as well, even though I've been doing this for a long time, I will admit you're a lot better at it than I am, but we also go about it in a completely different manner, and that's negotiations. They've got something to sell, you're looking to buy it, and how do we reach it? And I'd like to tell a quick story about your father, if I may. God rest his soul.
Go ahead.
Your father was old time, and no disrespect to anybody out there, but he was old time Italian, and he always needed to get a deal. And to anybody watching this, I'm 1% Italian. I did the 23andMe, so I can talk about the Italians because I'm an I-tie. When you get to, I can show you the proof before
I believe you.
I
believe you. Yeah. I can smell the garlic on your breath.
Oh, now that offends me. So he was old school, and he always felt like he needed to get a deal. He always felt he had to get the edge in the deal, and I don't think I'm telling any tales out of school when I say that. And there was a contractor that used to come by and do work for him.
All right.
And after about 3 or 4 times that the contractor had come by, I think the contractor had figured out that your father would always try to beat him down on the price.
Yes.
So what did the contractor do? He raised his price.
He definitely raised his price. I remember that guy.
So it wound up being, just to use an example, it was a $1,000 job. I mean, every other contractor in the world is going to charge $1,000.
Yep.
So the guy would come in, do the work, and your dad would say, "What did I owe? What do I owe?" And the contractor would go, "It's a $1,400 job." $1,400? That's crazy. That job isn't worth anything more than $600. Charlie, I don't know what I can do. I can get it down to $1,250, but I had to pay these $1,250, $750. And after 10 minutes of arguing, guess what the price was?
$1,000.
$1,000.
Yeah.
Whereas they could have just said $1,000 to start with.
Right. Exactly.
But I don't think either of them would have enjoyed that. I think they just liked yelling at each other.
Back and forth. Yeah. For sure.
And your dad felt like he got a deal because he got a $1,400 job for $1,000 when it was a $1,000 job.
Yeah, true.
So that's the old school way of negotiating. And although it makes me laugh, it's not how I do it. And I don't think it's how you do it anymore either.
No, definitely not.
So what problems or tactics do you have as far as negotiating? I mean, give us some examples and tell like kind of how you do it.
Yeah, it all depends really on the item. In my head there's strategy involved, I guess. But if it's something I don't really need, don't care about, of course I'm going to come in low and buy it low, or I really just don't want it. Or if it's too much to take on, if someone has 10,000 car magazines and I already have 50,000 car magazines, I'm going to pay a dime a piece if I even want them. Playboys are another thing. I got tons of Playboys. I'm not going to pay a lot unless they're 1950s or the Maryland issue. So, but if it's something I do want, that I'm hot for, I'm definitely going to be aggressive. And I don't like coming up with prices at first. I always ask the customer, "What do you want for your item?"
And that's something or other to give a little shout out to a friend of the channel, Pure Hustle Podcast. They've done a lot of videos on negotiations, and let me tell you the tactic, and then we'll get back to your story. The tactic that they say is you never come up with the price first, to the point that I believe it was Orlando was talking on there about you just stay silent. And 15 seconds of silence, and you kind of are in a position of power at that point because you're looking to buy it, and just stay completely silent.
Yeah.
And he said it gets incredibly awkward, and the person selling it's like starts hemming and hawing, and finally will give a price out. And if they don't, if they again throw out at you, well, what are you going to pay? I don't know. It's kind of it's your stuff. It's neat stuff, and then you just stay silent again. And at some point, So it's kind of I don't believe that I could do it that way because I don't know if you've ever noticed this in the channel. I like to talk.
No,
once in a while. I come out of my shell. Okay. So I couldn't do that tactic, but it's something other for you to think about.
Yeah, I definitely should try that. But for the most part, especially with the internet nowadays, everyone has a price guide at their disposal. And when they come in, They never know what they want. I don't know what I want for this item. And they really do know, but for some reason in their head, these customers think my offer's going to be way more than what they're keeping a secret with themselves, and it never is that way. The dealer's always going to offer less because they have to resell and they have all their expenses and so forth. So a lot of times I'll lose out on these deals because they'll come in and think they have a gold mine, say, this microphone here, they think it's $1,000 and they want 800. I'm going to come in at 200-300, but
right. You've got all
but they'll tell me I
expenses.
don't know what I want for it. And when I say 2-3, oh, that's too much. That's too little. It's $800. Well, why didn't you just say that to begin with? At least we had a starting point. I'm going to start lower. They're going to start higher, and hopefully we meet somewhere.
Well, and here's one thing, and this, if you're looking to sell your items, this is truly not going to work with everybody you're trying to sell items to, but this will work with the two of us. If you're trying to sell items to us, if you come in outrageously low, if you're not a dealer,
Right.
if you're a dealer, it's a different story.
Yeah.
But if you're not a dealer, if you're a civilian and you come in with an offer for your items that is just outrageously too low,
Yeah.
I know both of us have paid more.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
said it's worth more than that.
Right.
Because
Oh, yeah.
I want to sleep at night. And
I've given
if
people more than what they
yeah.
wanted. Absolutely.
If some little old lady had Golden Age comics in there and she goes, oh, I don't know, they cost 10 cents a piece back in the day. How about 10 cents a piece? I'm not paying 10 cents a piece for old Golden Age comics. I'm not. I'm going to give her more.
Sure.
Am I going to get a deal? Yes, of course I'm going to get a deal, but I've got to make money.
Right, absolutely.
But, I'm not buying 100 old superhero comics for $10. I'm
Yeah.
not doing it. I could not sleep at night
Right.
at that point, and neither could you.
Right.
And so when you're dealing with an established dealer, don't be afraid to come up with a price because we want you to be happy. And what is that little old lady going to say? Those guys were unbelievable. I went in there and I didn't know, and I wanted $100 and they gave me $800.
Yeah.
Nobody does that.
Right.
So don't be afraid to come up with a price with an established dealer. Now, there are people out there that little old lady could come up and say, I want 10 cents each, and they try to talk her down to 5 cents each. I mean, there are people out there like that.
That is true.
But I couldn't sleep at night doing that, and I know you couldn't either.
Yeah. Yeah. But even with Facebook and Craigslist and everywhere you can resell, if you're a consumer and you have product that you want to sell on there, you're going to have a price in mind. You're not going to say, oh, here's my Beatles collection. You're going to say Beatles collection, $2,000, whatever it is.
Or my other thought is, if you don't have a price in mind, probably it's that you don't care.
Right.
In other words,
just to get rid of it. Someone died. You got to get the house cleared out. You want to dump it. It's just give me $100, whatever.
yeah. If your mom had, if my mother had a Hummels collection and she said, I'm moving and I just need to get rid of this stuff, and just gives it to me, get me whatever, and I bring it to you, I don't care. I don't know. I don't care. I'm not going to research. I mean, unless she had said to me, these 5 Hummels are super rare. Okay, then I'm going to do it. But otherwise, if she doesn't care and says, I just want them gone, and I come into your store, I really don't care. I've got 100 Hummels. If you give me $100 or $1,000, I don't care at that point. But I truly don't have a price in mind at that point. Whatever you offer me is good. But if you tell me $100, I'm going to go, okay. I mean, I guess if you offer me $10, I'd say that seems a little bit low. But other than that, if it's anywhere enough for me to hand it to you, I don't care.
And then, if they don't come up with a price and I don't come up with a price, then I'll say there has to be a number. What will make you happy? Even if it's some crazy number, I go, what will make you happy? What do you have in mind? Your ballpark price, whatever. Sometimes they'll come up and sometimes they won't, But it can be frustrating sometimes. Then the worst is when they come to me and then they go, oh, I'm just getting praise. I'm going to shop it around. Well, why am I going to give you a price then when you're going to go to everyone else and someone else can pay $1 more? And they're right there and selling. They don't have to drive to me for $1 less. So I'll tell them generally, I don't play that game. Get your prices. I generally very fair. I pay more than most people, if not anyone in the area. Get your price, then come see me if you want the most. Then I'll just play that. Or sometimes they'll even come up with a price in it because they don't want to go drive around. But funny story. There was a gentleman maybe a month ago that had these magazines, music, Beatles, high grade stuff, and he wanted like $800, $1,000.
Oh, he reached out to you through the website, I believe.
Yes. Well, he originally, he was referred by a friend that I dealt with. He was very happy. His friend was very happy. I was very, very fair with him. I think it was an out-of-town deal, too. He might have reached through the website.
Yeah.
And but his friend said, Mr. Magazine's very fair. He pays you well. He's a nice guy. So we looked at the stuff, and he wanted too much money. I think he wanted $1,000.
And there
was all high-grade,
there were high-grade
stuff,
things, right? But he refused to come up with a price,
right? So he kept bugging me, and I said, okay, I really am interested. but he was getting frustrated. He was getting mad at me because I wouldn't come up with the price. I go, it's your stuff. Just, you know what you paid for, just come up with the price. And he wouldn't come up with the price.
Right, which not to cut you off, but and that's something I've said before on the shows that I've said, I can't be both the buyer and the seller.
Right, and I think you emailed him that as well. So I told the guy, I go, I like this stuff. I don't need this stuff. If you want to work a deal, come up with a price. And then he goes, 600. I go, fine, deal. So I really, because there was a lot of time involved going back and forth, and he was frustrating me. I had better things to do than to play his game. And then he got mad. He goes, see, I knew it was worth more because you said that quickly. I said, you thought about it. You had a price in mind. I said, okay, 600. Then he got mad. Then we argued about the shipping. So somehow he added stuff in, and we were at $800, and then he wanted more shipping. I go, that's enough is enough. I go, I really don't want this stuff. I'll give you the $800 total. It's factoring the shipping. That's the stuff you added in $800. But he was not happy about it. So I get the stuff, and it's still sitting from weeks ago. It's still sitting around. Now he's got more stuff he wants to sell me. And now I'm in a position where I really don't need this stuff at all. They're like, but he thinks it's great. It's his collection.
Right. Which I understand.
It is high grade. He's got 45 sleeves, like picture sleeves, but no records in them. He goes, they're highly collectible. I paid a lot of money for these. I go, I really don't want to deal in that stuff. He goes, just come up with a price. I go, I don't want to come up with a price. You come up with a price. I go, I really don't want them, honestly. So I thought he was going to say 500. I don't know. He had some rare wrestling magazines that were high grade from the 50s and 60s. So decent stuff, but it wasn't a big lot of stuff. So then he goes, 200. So here's the negotiation. I go, I don't really want them. I'll go 200 delivered. Then he agrees with 200 delivered.
Okay.
He goes to the post office, and it's $25. Now he sends it out, and now he's flipping out at me. This is BS. You should have come up with a price. This stuff's worth more money. Like, he's cursing me all over. I go, sir, return the items to me. I think he was going to go to the post office. Maybe he priced them online. What's going to cost? And I go, just refund me the money, sir. I don't like to do business like that. If you think I'm, he called me some name, a hustler or something. I go, I dealt with thousands of people. Never had this issue with anyone ever. You had a deal. You said the price.
Right.
If you paid 1,000, wanted 500, just say, don't say 200. So I agreed, and I don't think I'm stealing by any means. And
or you might be stealing them, but you're not. You might be stealing them versus the value and what you can get out of them, but you're not stealing them within your situation,
right? Because
they'll never get listed.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to stop you. Right.
Hey, so to quote your father, I might as well take $200 and put it up on the shelf because that's exactly what you did.
And his game was, I have all these great rare 33 records. I got, do this deal. We'll go to the next one. So for $200, fine. So now I'm 1,000 all in with this annoying guy.
But you agreed to his price, and he's upset at you for agreeing to his price.
Both times. And the first time I even went up more. So now I go, fine, $225.
Which covers the shipping, which is
He got even more angry. Now I got to show you these emails. He got more angry because he thought this stuff was, again, you played this game with me. You're a scammer. You're stealing this stuff. I said, sir, I didn't even want them. I offered you said 200. I said, okay. Then you wanted shipping. I said, okay, how much more can I do? I go, just please refund the money. If you think I'm a scammer, I don't want people, shaming me online or telling other people I'm a scammer. I go, and he goes, no, I'm going to send it out to you and we're done. And then he even emailed me back again, like, you missed out on this, this, and then he called me out every name under the sun. So I've been ignoring him from now on. But if he was on eBay, I would definitely have him blocked. Ridiculous, but some people are crazy.
Can I tell you what's going to happen? Can I cut to 6 months from now?
Go ahead.
He's going to reach out to you with more stuff to sell because he sounds like somebody that won't be happy with anybody.
Right.
And
I'm as fair as they go with this guy. I would think putting up.
And you're being more patient than other people will. Yeah. Other people will curse him out, and then he'll kind of realize. He'll realize that in his head, you're a cheating thief, but you're the best of the cheating thieves. So.
Well, this last deal for $200. He was shopping it around locally to record shops and stuff.
And they didn't want it.
And they did. He goes, they're going to pay me more money, but then I got to go around and do this and sell this to that person. Break it up. Right. So I'm just going to sell to you. So, and I told him every time, I go, you have these other people you said will pay more than me. Just sell them to them. It sounds like it's a great deal. You don't have to get mad at them, and you'll get more money. But, yeah, I agree. He's going to piss someone else off and then come back to me in a couple months. Yeah, I agree. But that's a rare occasion with an unhappy Mr-Magazine customer.
That's funny. See, and that's where negotiations, I'm completely different in that I very rarely negotiate. I'll give an example. We've got a while ago we had a haul video coming out. It's coming up this following Monday, except we're shooting and be posting this way out, so we're kind of in a time warp. Let's do the time warp again. Well, you didn't dress up like Frank R. Fruit
No.
from.
No, sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so I went to a sale that ended up being not nearly as good as I thought that it would be with dealers. It was about 20% of the dealers were there, and a gentleman had Dell Comics, medium grade Dell Comics, funny animal stuff, whatever. And I started looking through them, and he said they're $3 each. And I started looking through them. I said, how much for all of them? And he came up with the price, $1,100. And he says, I want you to walk around. Don't buy them now. And I said, all right, that's fair enough, because $1,100 is a lot of money to put into them.
Yeah.
And
What do you have, a whole long box full?
probably about 600 magazines or comic books at that point. So about
So a couple bucks.
a couple bucks each. Yeah, it's a fair price, but there wasn't anything in it outstanding.
Right.
And he goes, when he first said the price, he goes, I don't want to negotiate. This is what it is, which I can understand, and I'm absolutely fine with that.
Yeah.
And I looked at him, and because he was in the first spot I went, I did not know how many dealers there were. And I didn't want to spend all of my money right away
Sure.
and then have nothing left and find the deal of the century later and be light on cash. So it was an okay deal at his price. And I said, okay, I'm only asking one favor. I probably will come back and buy them. If I come back and you've sold a bunch of them, I'd like to negotiate the price down at that point. And he goes, oh, of course. Because obviously, $1,100. Oh, there's 300 comics fewer. It's still $1,100. Well, obviously that wouldn't work. And he said, no problem.
Yeah.
So I walked around, was quite upset because there were almost no dealers set up compared to what there usually are. It came back, and I saw one of the boxes was down, that far. I said, oh, you sold a bunch of these, huh? And he goes, yeah. And he gave me the number. He said, I don't know, forget how many of them he sold. And I said, all right, well, I'll take them, just if we could work out the price. So he said, oh, and so he's figuring out how many he sold, this, that. He said, all right, $800. I said, deal. And it was the easiest negotiation in the world, because I was quite happy with $800 on it. Easiest for him.
Yeah.
And I didn't try to get it for $750. I didn't try to get it down, because I knew $800. I'm paying. When I got home and counted them all up, I paid $1.66 per item. There were some better comics in there, but that worked out well, because he told me up front he didn't want to negotiate. And I'm not the kind of person that's going to, I'm not going to try to beat him down. I'm not going to say, gee, could you do $850 trying to get it at $1,000? $1,100 is a fair deal.
Yeah.
I can make money on it. I'm happy with it. I'll make money in the long term.
Right.
But one thing that I did do, because there will be another one of these shows coming up in a couple of months, I said, hey, are you going to be here in August? Yep. He goes, I'm going to reload for August. I said, then I'll see you then. And so now when I come by to see him, I'm going to make him an offer first thing on it, assuming he has older comics, because I think I've seen him at the show before, and he had older comics at that point as well.
Yeah.
I'll just seek him out, make him an offer, and buy it. And if he keeps going to it every year, I'll also give him my business card.
Yeah.
It'll be nice and easy. He'll contact me once a year. Here's what I got. I'll go. I'll pay it.
Yeah.
I won't negotiate with him, because he knows what he's got and he knows what he wants. And it just makes it easier for everybody. Yeah. There's no back and forth. Well, would you do 1,075?
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, it's pennies, really. It's crazy at this point.
So the only real time I negotiate is if your price is so far out of what I want. And again, I find that, but it's also that I tend to deal with dealers,
right,
all the time. 90% of my purchases are straight from dealers, and I very rarely do negotiate. And the few times that I do, they almost always match my price, because if I've dealt with you 100 times, and 100 times I've paid your price,
yeah,
and this is the 101st time, and I ask you for a lower price, what do you think? Oh, maybe I'm a little bit high this time.
Right, exactly.
Dave always just pays what I want.
Yeah.
So it is a difference in negotiating with dealers, which is what I tend to deal with.
Yeah.
Throw me the price out. If it's fair, I'll pay it. If it's not, then I will work it down a little bit. Then it is dealing with, I'll call it a civilian.
Right.
So it's completely different.
Yeah.
You've done some pretty big deals with dealers. When you did the Ohio deal, there was almost no negotiation.
No, there wasn't much. It was a big deal, a good deal, and he was able to take my terms, which was great. So then, I'm not going to squibble, so.
Right, and I think that's what it is dealers are a lot easier to deal with, believe it or not. And I think that we are probably the only channel out there that tells you to deal with dealers. I think most of the other channels tell you, find it in the wild, you'll get the greatest deal in the wild, which you can. You certainly can, but you're doing a lot of running around. You're doing a lot of this, a lot of that. One of the things, are we paying more from buying from a dealer than we are from a civilian? Yes, I would think we are. But we're paying the dealer for doing all the running around.
Right.
We're doing, in some cases, a dealer a favor by buying bulk lot off of him.
Right.
And he also knows the game in that he understands our cost structure. He understands that, I'm selling for 10 cents on the dollar, but I don't have to list it. I don't have to pack it. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do that. And especially if he isn't a dealer necessarily in what we're buying off of him. To him, that's gravy.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I just picked up $1,000 for these magazines out of this collection that I bought for the Hess trucks. I paid $5,000 for the whole collection. I just got $1,000 free dollars because when I made the offer, I made the $5,000 offer on the Hess trucks.
Yeah.
The magazines were nothing to me.
Right.
So now I got the Hess trucks for $4,000. So it's a win for the dealer and it's a win for us. So
the dealer too. The dealer knows the product. They know what they have, and they could always say no. If you're insulted, they're going to say no. Whereas if you're talking to a civilian, they're always worried about getting ripped off. Oh my God, I don't know if I should sell it to him. I can get ripped off, or my cousin said it's good stuff. I better shop it around, or so it's a lot easier with the dealer in that aspect as well.
And one other quick thing about negotiating with the dealer or dealing with the dealer, a lot of times you can tell. A lot of times they have some stuff priced and some stuff not priced, and this is a fault of mine. Especially when I'm at the larger shows, I'm in a hurry. I am. If you've got 1,000 dealers to look at, I can't look through every item in every booth. You just cannot do it. You'll run out of time.
Yeah.
So I go into your booth, and you've got some okay stuff. And I'm looking at it, I go, okay, that's okay stuff. And you don't have it priced. However, I look off, and you've got something off to the side that's okay stuff. And you've got a 1932 Better Homes and Gardens magazine priced at $25. I'm probably not even going to waste my time asking you what you want on this other stuff because that price is more than I can get for the item.
Right.
Could you have valued that really high because in your head that's a great cover and these other ones are garbage to you? Yes, you could have, and there is no harm in asking.
Yeah.
But you're going to tell me $20 each on these magazines over here, and in my head I'm thinking I can pay you $2 each. We're never going to make a deal. Just not going to happen.
Right.
So maybe if you're standing right there and I'm looking through them and you say, oh, those are $20 each, I'll thank you and be on my way. And maybe there's the off chance that you'll say that, oh, they're $2 each. But I'm not going to seek you out if I see that the other items in your booth are overpriced. And there are some people who actually use that as a tactic. They price everything super high, and then they go and they say, I'll make a deal, and then they're cutting everything down. It's like, well, that's $25. I'll give it to you for $8.
Yeah. They got that from Kohl's.
Oh, really?
Well, they do that. Yeah. They jack everything up, and then you get these Kohl's cash and these sales and discounts, and you think you're getting a deal. And really, you're not.
Yeah, and there are people out there. I mean, there's 1,000 different ways to price stuff and that kind of thing. But hopefully this has helped you a little bit there with negotiations. Again, you do it a little differently with the dealer than you would with a civilian. This is kind of a little bit of insight, though, the backside of the business as to how it works. And you're going to find what works for you. I'm willing to throw a price out. One last thing, and we've talked about this before on the show as well. When I am just sitting there staring and Pure Hustle said, don't say anything, I value my time. I really do. I'm so busy.
Right.
That, as I've told you before, I will say, we got to get started somewhere. I'll give you $1. You want 1,000. Let's go from there.
How about secret ballot? Remember, we used to do secret ballot.
What was that?
Secret ballot.
Oh, right.
We'd each write a number down if we were dealing with each other, and we'd probably take the average of what I wanted and what he wanted to give me for it. So we haven't done it in a while.
No, we haven't. But the funny thing is, usually there have actually times where
you're higher than me.
Yeah, where I'm willing to pay more than you wanted for it. That does happen.
Well, good for me.
But yeah, so I'll say I'll give you $1, and I know you want 1,000. so I'll raise my offer to 5.
Right.
And they'll laugh because they suddenly realize that, we got to get started somewhere. And then they'll say, well, $5 is low, but yeah, 1,000 is more than I want. How about 200? There we go. We got something now. Now let me see if I can do it or not. Hopefully this helps you. One last thing, and this is very, very important. No matter what the stuff is, and no matter what their price is, do not put it down.
Right.
Respectfully decline if you're not even close. If they want $1,000 on something that you can sell for $400, I see this as a very nice item. That price is a little more than I can afford to be able to make money on it, but it's a great item. Good luck to you. Don't say, and I've been at shows before where I've heard people say in front of the dealer, that's crazy. That's only worth $400. Don't put it down, because now you're poisoning the well. And perhaps at some point the dealer will have something that he underpriced or something that you want for your collection.
Right.
And if he remembers you, that every time you go in his booth, you badmouth the prices, he may not want to deal with you at all at that point. So there's nothing wrong with being diplomatic and saying, oh, I see how nice this item is. Unfortunately, the market may not agree with you, so I can't pay that for it. Do hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.